A few years ago, my wife and I went to California with a couple of the best-looking, smartest, and most well-behaved dogs in the world, who just happened to live with us. And lest you think I'm biased regarding these dogs, let me point out that they, along with my wife, were recognized for their excellence and got to go to a special invitation-only dog show, which is why they went to California. I got the privilege of tagging along to play the role of proud father, and I'm grateful that they gave me the chance to indulge my wanderlust. I love to travel. I'll go just about anywhere, really. If nothing else is available, I'll go to the corner store, although it's even more fun to go somewhere I've never been before, like, say, the store next to the corner store. If someone grabbed me and said, "Hey, would you like to go to Paramaribo?" I'd say, "Let me get my toothbrush." We'd probably be somewhere over Guatemala before I'd think to ask, "So, is that in Trinidad or Tobago? And, by the way, who are you?" I'd probably also forget to pack my swimsuit. I did that when we went to California, and even though it was December, the weather was really nice and the hotel pool was open, so I went to one of those big box stores you find everywhere from California to Cameroon to buy a swimsuit. Well, technically it's not a suit. It's more of a pair of shorts that have a sewn-in mesh underwear that guys wear when going swimming. I know some people call them bathing suits, but I've never worn anything like that while bathing. And some people call them swim trunks, but I've always thought a trunk was either attached to an elephant or for storing treasure maps in your grandfather's attic, but that's another story. I was having trouble finding any swimsuits, so I went to the store workers whose nylon vest said, "May I help you?" and whose face said, "Go away." I asked her where the swimsuits were, and she said, "Do you know what time of year it is?" And I said, "Have you been outside lately?" Southern California may not be on the equator, but it was pretty warm out there. Besides, the store was within walking distance of the beach. And one day I did walk to the beach. The trip to the California was the first time I've ever been that far west, and it was the first time I saw the Pacific Ocean. Looking out over it, with soft white sand under my feet and the sun at my back, I could understand why Balboa called it peaceful. I walked along the beach and smiled and said good morning to several people who seemed just as happy as I was. I saw a couple doing Tai Chi at the top of a very steep, rocky hill that rose up from the beach. There was a sign at the bottom of that hill that said, "Do not climb cliff." This was no cliff. I'd been through Arizona and New Mexico where I'd seen real cliffs. Anybody who called this steep, rocky hill a cliff had obviously never been any further east than Needles. It was on my way to the beach, though, that I had one of those experiences that, to me, make traveling so much fun and so worthwhile. I was standing at a red light, waiting to cross the street when a guy pulled up next to me on a bike. Out of nowhere, he motioned toward a large white building with a green copper roof and said, "They did a really good job renovating that place, didn't they?" I said, "I don't know. I've never seen it before." I immediately regretted sounding like a smartass, so I quickly added that I was just visiting, and that I thought it was a nice-looking building. He proceeded to tell me that the building had been built as a hotel in 1905. After being unused for some time, it had been renovated in 1987, and had recently been renovated again, and was being turned into luxury condos. Then the light changed. He said, "Well, enjoy your visit here," and sped off. I really wanted to talk more, to ask him more about the history of the area, or at least find out how he knew so much about that building, but he was gone before I could even say, "Thank you." Maybe if I ever go back there I'll run into him again, and we'll be able to talk a little bit more. We'll probably be somewhere over Guatemala before I think to ask him who he is.